Hello and welcome to my updated 4K review of the Spyderco Persistence. I first reviewed this knife 5 years ago, can you believe it? So a long time ago, and it's the next one on my list to review in 4K. The reason why I'm doing all these in 4K is obviously because I got the 4K camera a year or so ago. At the time I think I was recording in 720p or maybe 1080, but it wasn't the best quality. I think my videos have improved since then, and I just think in another 5 years the 4K will still be quite relevant. So they're the main reasons why I'm doing these updated videos. And also I don't really buy many knives anymore. But anyway, enough about that and about me. Let's have a look at this knife. So when I first purchased this knife, it was £35. And when I think about it, that's a bargain, really, £35. Nowadays, the Persistence is £54. So it's gone up by £19 in the 5 years or so. It is made in China because it's a Spyderco value folder. Like the Tenacious, if you've never heard of the Tenacious, then, well, it's pretty much legendary in the Spyderco sort of forums and things for its value. It's a great beta knife, just a perfect size and all the rest of it. So what Spyderco did is they brought out other knives in the value range, such as the Persistence. They also brought out the Ambitious, which is a little bit smaller, and then they brought out a whopping Resilience, which is this massive potato cutter, chip maker of a knife. And Tenacious is obviously very popular. They brought out a Ninja edition, well, black edition. Anyway, moving back to the Persistence. So I'll go through all the specifications like I normally do. The overall length is 6.8 inches or 17.2 centimeters. The blade length is 2.75 inches or 6.9 centimeters. The cutting edge length is the same. It's right up to the handle there. And the weight is 3.3 ounces or 102 grams. So that's great. It's just on that level for sort of everyday carry at the 100 gram mark. That's the sort of magic number that I sort of go for, about 100 grams for every day. It's not going to weigh you down too much. You can wear it in your tracksuit bottoms and things like that. One thing of note, if you can't already tell, I am from the UK, and because this does have a lock, it's worth mentioning that this is not legal for you to carry every day. So let's have a look at all the features. So the scales, it's this G10, they're quite smooth. They're about as smooth as the Tenacious. All these value folders use the same G10 scaling. Nice bit of texture on it, not too abrasive, but again not too slippy. This G10 is kind of like a baked fiberglass, if you wanted to know a little bit about G10. The pocket clip is 4-way, as you can see. You can position this tip up, tip down, left and right hand carry, whichever way. The liners are skeletonized. You can see just in there, if it catches the light, that means that the liners themselves have had round chunks taken out of them, removed, to reduce the overall weight of the knife. The locking mechanism, it's called a Walker liner lock. As you can see, it's just this bar that's sort of connected to the G10, and you just push it down and then that disengages the lock, and then the blade can move freely. When you engage the lock, the bar itself moves under the blade and locks it in place. It's quite a good firm lock. Obviously not every lock is indestructible. All locks can fail, but this is quite a good sturdy lock for the size of the blade too. It does have jimping both on the thumb ramp there of the blade and also on the liner lock there. Gives your hands, your finger and your thumb, a bit more grip, bit more leverage when you're using the knife with small tasks. And another point to mention is it does have a lanyard hole. You put some cord through that too. It's easy to maintain because it has these Torx screws all around, especially for the washers in there. It does say China on there, and it does say the blade steel is 8CR13 MOV. It's an okay blade steel. It's sort of lowish quality. It's not the best, but you can get it very sharp. It won't hold its edge that long, not compared to sort of VG10 or S30V, but yeah, you can get this very sharp, and because it's quite soft, it is easy to sharpen. So it's a great sort of starter knife for you to practice your sharpening skills on. It's a satin finish. I'm not sure if you can get it in other colours, but obviously, as I showed you before, you can get the Tenacious in the, I think it's not really DLC, I don't think, but you know, black coated. The handle scale is quite ergonomic. It's not as ergonomic as the Tenacious. The Tenacious, in my opinion, has one of the best blade length to handle size lengths out there. You know, it's a comfortable knife. Everything just works. It just fits well. And I've got large hands. This one, if you've got medium or small hands, then this one is going to probably fit you better. I like how the blade goes all the way to the handle. It's a good trademark of all the value ranges actually, especially with the Tenacious 2, which enables you to get really fine, precise control of this part of the cutting edge. So disengage the blade. It's quite easy to deploy with your thumb, with a finger, whatever method you sort of choose. It's easy and quick to deploy that blade. This one is getting a bit stiff, but just put some blue lube in there or some silicone spray, and that will make the action a lot smoother. Okay, so let me just show you a few size comparisons then. So here's the Persistence. You've got a smaller Ambitious there. You've got the Tenacious, and you've got the Resilience, which is the largest one out of all of them. So it sits sort of midway. You know, I'll probably say it's a medium knife. It's a small medium knife. It's not as medium as the Tenacious, and it's not as large as the whopping Resilience. Compared to like a UK PK, which blade length is actually similar sort of length, 3 inches look. The handle is longer though, I might add, and it is more ergonomic. I think it's a bit more comfortable, I think, and better blade steel, either if you go for the CTS BD1 or the N690 blade steel. This is the Urban. Urban's a bit smaller, so if you're used to an Urban, that's the size of it. I've also got a Delica, which has similar sort of blade length, but definitely one of the best blade steels in shot right now. And I actually prefer the handles. I do like G10. There's something about the bitextual handle scales that give me that grip and better sort of feel on the blade. And I do like the backlock too. But that's where it sort of weighs up in all of the knives that I have. Okay, so it's comfortable, even though there's less of a handle than the Tenacious. It does sit well in the hand. You can compare it to the UK PK and the Tenacious. I pay a little bit more and get the Tenacious, just because it does have a slightly longer blade and a more comfortable handle. But again, that's, you know, the size of your hands will change that requirement, obviously. It's a good value folding knife. You know, when I bought it for £35, it's lasted me, you know, 5 years at least. Would I spend £54 on one now? Probably not. It's a lot of money, and nowadays I think I'd rather get, you know, better blade steel and pay that extra money. But still, it's a good starting knife. It's a good beater knife. It's a knife that you're not going to really be too fussed, you know, if you lose it or if you damage it or anything like that. It's a good EDC knife as well. If you're in a country where it's legal to carry sort of every day, it's not as big as the Tenacious. You know, some would say that the Ambitious is a good EDC knife, but you're just missing out on that handle action. You're not getting as much, you know, handle as you do with the Persistence. Anyway, do you have a Spyderco Persistence? Put it in the comments below, your experiences and things of the knife. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.